Welcome back to the GFM. God, family, then money. The GFM. So look, here we go, family. I gotta make some corrections from that last video. Yes, my shirt's a little tore up, but it's alright. It's all good. Bear with me. Like I keep telling you, these are learning videos, experimental, whatever you want to call it. Basically, laying a foundation. Alright, so work with me. So anyway, in the first video, I said that Ammon ran away. He did not. All right, Ammon did not run away. Basically, Ammon stayed. All right. Also, in that first video, I basically said that he was killed. He was killed killed when he returned. He wasn't. So here's the deal. Corrections from the first video. Ammon does rape Tamar. Okay, and basically we can make the assumption that Ammon is had by either Abigail or Bathsheba, one of the two. He's, supposedly, he's good looking, whatever. Tamar and Absalom are brothers and sisters, and obviously they're either had by Abigail or Bathsheba, one of the two. All right. Matter of fact, the Bible describes Absalom as so good looking, from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Even his hair was pretty. Go figure. So anyway, he had it going on, but also he was a little nuts. All right, just a little nuts, but it's okay. So that was the description of Absalom. So anyway, what happened was Ammon did not run away. Basically, Ammon kind of just stayed away after he raped his sister. David was mad, but just like a lot of parents, he didn't right off the rip correct it. All right. So Absalom comes and says, "Hey, look, I want to do some sheep shearing or whatever. Basically, I want all the king's sons to go with me." David is kind of like, "Well, why does everybody need to go with you?" And Absalom basically just pleads with him, and he agrees. Absalom tells his servants, "Look, when Ammon is basically drunk, strike him." He said, "Don't fear, for am I not the king's son, and have I not commanded you to do this thing?" Long story short, they get together. Ammon gets lit. David gives the word, he kills him. Boom. So initially, the word goes out to David that, hey, all your sons are dead. All right. Now, the reason being is that Absalom is the one that ran once he killed his brother. Okay, he fled. But anyway, so the word goes back to David, hey, all your sons are dead. And so finally someone says to David, no, only Ammon is dead. Don't let your heart fret. You have one child that is dead, truly. And he's dead at the plot of Absalom. So now mind you, Absalom runs away to a far off land. He's gone for like 3 years. All right. So in that 3 years, Joab, one of David's servants, basically sends in a wise woman and basically puts words in her mouth, tells her what to say. And so the woman goes into David, and basically she tells David the story of how, two of her sons gets to fighting, and that one of the sons kills the other one because no one was there to break them up. She said, but now the people want to put the last remaining son to death, which would mean that her husband would have no heir, and that basically his name would be completely blotted from the land. And so David, he feels compassion for the woman. And he says, look, anybody says anything to you, bring them to me. He says, I promise you, not one hair of your son's head will touch the ground. And she says, well, my king, she says, why have you spoken this thing against God's people? She said, for you have a banished one, and you haven't recalled him. So David's like, oh. So David's thinking, but now remember, David's still the anointed one of God, so he still has wisdom from God. So David says, hey, did Joab put you up to this? And he said, don't lie to me. Basically what he says, don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. She goes, oh, my king, basically, you're wise. No one can turn to the left or the right, and basically no one can fool you. All right. And she said, yes, he did. She said, but, all in all, you yourself are saying that, hey, you would have spared my son for doing this thing. If that's your decree, then basically you need to bring your kid back, your son back to the land. If he's going to be protected, since protection is what you offer him. So he calls Joab in, tells Joab, "Hey, look, go get my boy, bring him back." All right. So Joab goes to the land and brings Absalom back. Absalom basically, but he's banished him to his house. David don't want to see him, all right, because of what he's done. Even though he know why he did it, but he does not want to see him. In between time, Absalom has kids. One of his children that is born to him is a girl, and he names that child Tamar as well, I guess in honor of his sister. But Absalom keeps asking to see David, and he keeps asking Joab, "Hey, look, man, I want to see my dad. I want to see the king. But Joab basically refuses because he knows how David feels. So Absalom tells his servants, "Hey, go set fire to his field." All right. So boom, he sets fire to the field, and next thing you know, so Joab comes and, "Hey, why did your servant set my field on fire? What you got going on?" He said, "Look, I've been asking to see the king, and you won't do it." So basically, because of this, Joab arranges a meeting with David, all right, with his son. Absalom goes to David and basically like, "Look, if you can't," he said, "It would not have been better for me to have stayed in the land I was at. You brought me back, and basically you banished me, and won't see me." And he prostrated himself before David. Now, for those of you who don't know, prostration basically means you lay face down on the ground. Like, that is the lowest you can get. And basically, when dealing with a king, that's how you respond to them. You act in humility. All right, being low and bowing down is humility. So Absalom does this thing. Basically, long story short, David forgives him. And so now Absalom, at this point, turns treacherous. He sends spies out in all of Israel, and basically, he basically uproots David's authority throughout the land. And one of the ways he's doing it is he's at the gate, and as people come to see David, he's rendering judgment at the gate. All right, boom. So, long story short, he is able to get people to start to like him. Absalom is the one that overthrows David, all right, that basically puts David on the run. David has to dip out the palace, all right. And so now let's recap because of the sin that David has done. David sleeps with Bathsheba, which was wrong. He has lost a child, all right, because the child that he got Bathsheba pregnant with. He now has a dead son. He has a raped daughter, and he has another son who has now thrown him or got him ran out of the kingdom. Okay? All because of a sin that was avoidable. So folks, let's take note here. Look at your life. Look at how many times you've done something that you knew wasn't right, but you did it anyway. And then on top of you doing it, you kept doing it because it was fun. But notice, God gave David an opportunity to turn from his sin, to come clean, and he did not. He gave, I can't say gave Absalom a chance, because I really don't, the story doesn't really go into that. But I guess since the main character is David, think about it in your life, because I can look at it in my life. I had plenty of opportunities to turn from my wrongs. But anyway, this segment is coming to a close. As always, I say, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And let's pray together and let's stay together.